Good afternoon and welcome to today's training webinar hosted by Prime Seller Leads. My name is Peter and I'll be walking you through everything you need to know for getting started with your new Prime Seller Leads website and software. So specifically for today, we're going to take a look at the whole front end of the website, take a look at how to drive traffic to the website. From there, how a lead registers, the difference between a partial and a full lead. Additionally, we also take a look at the home market analysis report. From there, we're going to hop into the back end of your website where you log in to access your leads. We'll take care of some basic housekeeping to make sure you have all your settings set up correctly when first working with your leads. And from there, also take a look at your CRM and some tips for staying organized with the tools that we have available for you. Okay, also, every Tuesday and Thursday here at Prime Seller Leads, we do host these live training webinars. Tuesdays, we always have Back to the Basics for all of our newest agents who are getting familiar with our website and software. From there on every Thursday, we always cover something new. And in order to register for any of our up-and-coming webinars, you can go ahead and do so right at pslwebinar.com. Again, that's pslwebinar.com. And you can register for this Thursday's or any of our upcoming webinars for next month as well. Perfect, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first step as far as understanding how these systems and programs work here at Prime Seller Leads is at the base subscription level is really just understanding those different subscriptions and what you have to do in order to have success with the program. So at the base subscription level, you are responsible for driving traffic to your website. However, we do have a brand new great Facebook advertising guide to help you along that process. One thing to keep in mind specifically for Facebook is they're always constantly updating, changing, and they even roll out these updates to specific accounts and not everyone's because they do a lot of testing as well. So if you ever notice that your administrative backend for managing your advertisements in Facebook looks different than what we provide in the video, then let us know and we're happy to point you in the right direction. So that's really the first method. Most agents honestly go with paid advertising in order to drive traffic to their Prime Seller Leads websites. And specifically for this, why we recommend Facebook is because for the same amount of money that you would spend on AdWords or any other platform, you're going to have a higher volume of leads through Facebook at a lower cost per full lead. So that's honestly why we recommend that platform. However, we do have thousands of agents using offline marketing efforts as well. If it's incorporating their website on a direct mail campaign with direct mail flyers, geographic farming, door knocking, even doing some traditional advertising like TV, radio, and so on and so forth. So a lot of different ways. The main idea, though, is you have to drive traffic to the website. Now, talking in regards to the other subscriptions, if that's not something that you'd like to do, is we also have advertising management. It's just $99 a month, just $3 a day, and our team will go ahead and professionally manage your Facebook or Google AdWords campaign in order to drive traffic to your website. From there, and you may have heard it before, we do have some agents that sign up for our market exclusive program where we also professionally manage our ad campaigns as well. I'm not going to dive into the full description of the services here today, but just to let you know, if you did not want to drive traffic on your own, there are options available here at Prime Seller Leads. And if you do decide to go with, if we're managing it or if you're managing it, the formula that we recommend in the Facebook ad video and what we provide for all of our customers that sign up for the ad management, typically you're going to see an average lead cost of about $2 to $3 a full lead through Facebook ads. In some markets, it may be even $3 to $4. Really, the main range is about $1.50 to $6 per full lead. And how we calculate that is taking a look at how much money you've spent so far, divide that by the amount of full leads, and that's how we go ahead and process that equation to see what the cost per full lead is. So that's what you can expect with this type of program. So a good example of that is, for say $150 a month, you should receive anywhere from about 55 to 60 leads on average with the formula we provide you and with your Prime Seller Leads website and software. So point of this, though, I know, again, kind of long-winded here, is that with whatever method you're going, the idea is to drive traffic to the website. And from here, and what we're going to hop into for the next part of today's training webinar is just taking a look at how a lead registers. because we do work closely here with a lot of international real estate coaching firms. And so specifically for that, they all confirm, that it's definitely good to be able to relate to the lead's experience, especially when following up and reaching out to the leads as well. So let's go ahead and dive through that process right now. So since we just talked about driving traffic to the site, that lead has already clicked on an advertisement that's similar to the idea of what is your home worth? Click here to get the value of your home. So these potential clients of yours are going to these websites to find what their home is worth. And so all they have to do is enter their address, select it from the drop-down list and hit enter or click show me now. And from here, from this point forward, this is now a partial lead with your system. So a user that just submits their property address is a partial lead. But in order to become a full lead with the program, we do have to enter our name and email address. And from here, click Generate Report. And then from this point forward, as soon as we enter our name and email address, we're now considered a full lead with the system. So again, just to review, partial lead is just going to be a property address, and a full lead is going to be a property address, name, and at least an email address as well. Now, this last step, you can make the phone number optional, and along with that, this website and the front end of it is 100% customizable and very friendly to use, but the lead just has to enter their phone number based on how you set that up. And then just select, I am ready for my home value. Perfect. And so here's the actual report itself. And so again, we have a few different designs, and you can completely customize the branding of the report as well, along with the background photos and the entire website itself. But just for a few moments, I would like to talk about this automated valuation model that we use to instantly provide home values for users that submit their property address. And the reason why we like to talk about this is it seems to be a pretty common problem nowadays in the real estate industry to have a potential client that sees an online home value and they just, stick to their guns and they say, well, if that's what it said online, that's what it's worth. That's what I want to list it for. That's what I want to buy it for. So I've spoken to a number of agents myself that have the same thoughts. And so why I like to bring that up is some tactics and what some agents use to get over that hurdle. But then also it really does help explain the automated valuation model we use. So if any of your clients have questions about the report, then you can speak knowledgeably about it as well. So with any online home evaluation system that instantly produces home values, they're actually universal in the sense that they cannot take into consideration certain characteristics of a home that can affect its true value. So some good examples of that, if that potential client of yours has gone ahead and they've remodeled, they've added an addition onto the home, new roofing, energy efficient windows, anything else like that that really can affect the value, these systems cannot detect. So with that being said, any of these online values are meant to be a general market value, and then the details below, just some general market data. So it's never meant to replace an actual CMA or an appraisal of a home. Just because, only an expert real estate agent like yourself can go ahead and provide that. So the connection point when our agents get potential clients on the phone is no matter what they say in regards of I'm not interested, this, that, whatever else, just try to get the point across to them that, this is just a general report. If you want the true value of your home, you need to work with a real estate expert like myself, and I'm happy to provide you that information. So that's why we go ahead and talk about that a little bit. But then also, say if you do get a client on the phone that has questions about your report, you can go ahead and speak knowledgeably about that as well. So moving on through the actual report itself, that's the actual value that the system assigns to that address. And from here, there's a few other pieces of information such as nearby sold comparable properties. Along with this, we do have a market overview for the zip code that's immediately associated with the lead's address that they submitted. That just dives into some finer tuned points of the market, such as median residential home sale prices over the last 12 months, median mortgage debt in dollars, some ideas about property ownership, dwellings that are classified as vacant, owner occupied, and renter occupied as well. Along with that, we do provide annual and quarterly home sales data, but the biggest thing to keep in mind with these reports, again, is what we initially talked about. It's just a general home value and general market details report that's incorporated for your home market analysis report. If we are ever off, it's usually between the 15 to 20% range. We try to be as accurate as possible, but the idea that it doesn't connect with the local MLS and cannot take into consideration any factors that can affect the true value of a home, that's why it may be off. And so that's the biggest connection point our agents use as well in order to leverage that for business later on down the road. Great, so that's the actual home market analysis report itself. And again, if anyone here has any questions at any point of today's training webinar, I'm happy to answer those for you if it immediately relates to what I'm covering. If not, I'll definitely keep my note of that. Your questions don't go away. They sit right here on my GoToWebinar software. And at the end of the training webinar today, I'll make sure to cover and answer everyone's questions as well. Now, before we dive into this, we also like to cover, just some, as far as diving into the back-end system and making sure your settings are set up correctly, just like to establish fair expectations for these type of programs. So one of the biggest questions that we receive here at Prime Seller Leads is, I have a ton of leads, now what do I do with them? And so a lot of agents, definitely at first when starting a specific program, like to have scripts, just to get them in the mindset for that. So we do have a lot of scripts available. I'm happy to send that to everyone after today's training webinar. Just bounce around ideas. Of course, you may been doing this long enough that you already know what's probably going to work in your market. But happy to share that with anyone that wants that information as well. But along those lines, really the biggest key to success is, understanding the expectations of these types of programs. And so just some general information about the market itself as far as seller lead generation and working online seller leads, which has been confirmed by a lot of major sources, including ourselves here at Prime Seller Leads, is the fact that usually the typical agent just starting one of these programs is going to convert about 1 to 3% of their leads. And the process for working that and having that return come to you, we're going to cover in a little bit. But about 1 to 3% agents, that have a little bit more revised of a follow-up plan that works for their market and their vocabulary can see, anywhere from 3 to 5%. And what we call our rockstar agents are seeing anywhere of 5 to 8%. And so an example of one of our rockstar agents would be Justin Haver in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Justin has done a few 100 million there last year for his business and transactions. And from there, does about 5 listings a month with our program. But that's because he has an excellent, very well written out follow-up campaign in place with the program and a large team that follows up with that as well, along with a large advertising budget. So he finds a value in the system in that sense and goes through that. So that's one example of it. And I do recommend if you check out our YouTube channel, Justin hosted a great training webinar a few months back here at Prime Seller Leads. Our CEO and founder, Josh Grunn, interviewed him and basically talked about what Justin goes through on a day-to-day as far as working these seller leads. We also have a lot of great other training webinars and materials there from past coaches. Travis Robertson held a great one. And then also there's a few others to check out as well. But now going back to the actual expectations of the program as well, something else that is a huge thing to take into consideration is the fact that really every major international real estate coaching firm has confirmed that it takes about 8 to 10 touches per lead in order for that to turn into business about 3 to 6 months down the road. So really not a get-rich-quick scheme in that sense, but that being said, I like to review those, so if you don't have success in the first month or first 2 months, it's not you, it's just the type of what to expect with these types of programs. And that's why it's definitely good to have that follow-up strategy in place and making sure you're having almost a scientific method approach to revising it to make it sure that it works for you and for your market as well. Great, so moving on to the rest of today's training webinar, we're going to look into the back-end system here. Again, any questions, feel free to ask at any point. So that's just going to be /admin with your domain, and right now we're on LasVegasSellers.com, one of our demonstration sites. And so the cool part about this is you'll actually see some bells and whistles that aren't normally in your account just because this is our demo account. But specifically for right now, we're going to take a look at some basic housekeeping just to make sure that your account is set up correctly based on how you work your day-to-day business for seller lead generation. So specifically for that, we just want to make sure all the settings and notifications are set up first. So we're going to hover over settings within the top navigation menu. And the first thing we'll take a look at is email settings. And so this is the area where you make sure that you have the correct email address on file. And also we're going to take a look at what each one of these means. So for the first one, the admin email is going to be the email associated with your subscription. And so if you are the only person on the account, you're on your free trial paying $59.99 a month, you are the subscriber, then you're considered the admin or administrator with your Prime Seller Leads website through our program. So that's what that is. And if you reset your password, anything else like that, or do any of that, that's going to be associated with the admin email in this section. From here, we also have from email. So when the admin sends an email individually or has leads assigned to a drip campaign, what you want that from email to say when those emails are sent out. From there, we also have lead email, so where all lead notifications go to. You can have multiple email addresses here if you want. All you have to do is have a comma-separated value, no spaces, anything else, and then you can go ahead and have multiple emails receive those lead notifications. Now, something that happens with the system as well, just to bring it up, really any system that has a drip email campaign, email service that's not an actual email service itself, is any emails post on behalf of your email address. So any responses you get to that go to the regular email address inbox that it's posting on behalf of. And now that being said, what can directly affect that is if a user unsubscribes. So not a big deal, but if you get tons and tons of unsubscribe complaints and there's more unsubscribes rather than actual people subscribe to drip campaigns, then that might affect the ability to receive notifications. If that happens, just let us know. It's a pretty standard thing. Go ahead, let us know, and we're happy to take a look in our email servers and get you back on board. So if you set this up and don't see it, let us know and we can take a look at it for you. Along with this, we do have the ability for you to receive text notifications, and so that's the lead text email. And so specifically for this, you're going to enter your cell phone number right here. And so you're going to have the area code plus the regular phone number itself. No parentheses, no spaces, no dashes, no periods, anything like that. So just all the numbers together. And from there, you're going to add a specific text code that's associated with your cell phone carrier provider. So specifically for AT&T, the text code looks like this at txt.att.net. And so that's going to be the one for AT&T, and the one for Verizon is at vtext.com. So those are the two main providers. If we didn't cover the provider that you have, it's easily you're able to find that information through a Google search. That information is easily available online as well. Okay, great. So going on through that, that's the email settings themselves. Here's also the different notifications, though. The admin auto-assign notification lets you know when a lead has been auto-assigned to an account, because here at Prime Seller Leads, by default, it's set up that you have to manually assign agents or yourself to your leads. And then just because we do have options for automatically assigning leads if you're in a single agent or an entire team. So for the admin auto-assign notification, it just lets you know that a lead has been auto-assigned to you with no lead information on that template. So that's what the second one is for, send sign up notification mail. So I recommend, if you're the only agent on the account and don't and want to keep your inbox clear, I would suggest turning this one off, the admin auto assign notifications, and then from there just leaving this on, because basically when a new lead comes through, it's like getting two emails if you leave both of these on. One saying, hey, here's your new lead, here's their information, and then one saying, hey, a lead has been automatically assigned to you. So if that's the case, then I would leave that off. If you have multiple team members on there, I'd probably leave it on. Now from here, we also have send agent assign notification mail to agent. So with your Prime Seller Lead subscription, you do have the ability ability to have unlimited agents accounts. They can have their own sign-ons, their own email signatures, username, login, everything else, and access the specific leads that have been assigned to them. And you control every aspect of their account since you're the one purchasing it from us here at Prime Seller Leads. So send sign up agent, sign notification mail to agent. I would probably turn that one off because they're also going to get the notification mail as well, just not to confuse things. Additionally, the final two areas is the admin lead market analysis notification. So whenever a lead submits their information and receives the report that the system produces on your website, you can be CC'd on an email copy of that report. So if you want to turn that on, you click on and add your email address right here, and then make sure you click the green save button. And so the final thing you have to do is turn on the step 4 summary mail in order for that to work correctly. This just sends an email copy of the report to the leads that provide a valid email address and get a report on your website, and then that way you can be CC'd on that report as well. A good example of why that's beneficial to do is, say if you're on the go and a lead calls you back and wants to review the report, and you have your email connected to your smartphone, then you can go ahead, pull up the report in your email, and you're not trying to log into your Prime Seller Leads backend, find the name, look it up, and go about that process. So that way, if you're on the go, you can easily do that from your cell phone. So that's why we would recommend that. We also turn this on for a few other reasons, which we'll cover in a little bit here once we take a look at the CRM. Great. So the next part, just want to cover some of the housekeeping stuff, just letting you know about the different accounts we have available here at Prime Seller Leads with any subscription level. So you do have the ability, as you, the single person, you are the administrator, but have the ability to add another admin. And so that's agents and administrators. And so the unique thing with the administrators is they cannot be assigned leads, but this would be for your assistant, your ISA, your VA, anything else like that. If you want to provide them access to take care of things for you and not assign them leads, and that would be the appropriate area to do that in with an additional administrative account. From there, we also have two other types of accounts, one for your agents and then one for lenders as well. So agent accounts and lenders basically have the same access just to their immediate leads, the drip campaigns and marketing that you share with them, and then also training videos, support, and their own calendar as well. So those are going to be the agents and lenders accounts, and there's multiple different options if you want to manually or automatically assign lenders and agents to leads. So a lot of options for that based on how you work your business. So for agent accounts, it's very easy to set up. We just click Manage Agents, and you can go ahead and just click Add Agent button right here, and then it takes you through a very easy step-by-step prompt to create it. Biggest thing to keep in mind if you're creating lender or agent accounts is you create their username and passwords as well. So please write that down and make sure you keep track of that if you're going to share that information with the agents and lenders that you're creating with the system here. Great, so also taking a look at that, again, just to show you an example, here's one of our demo agent accounts, and I'm going to separate this tab on my web browser so that you can see the difference, but in the background here, you can see all of these great different settings in the top navigation menu, and then compared to the agent account, it's just their leads, the drip campaigns that you share with them, their calendar, some basic settings if they want to personally integrate with their individual BombBomb account for video marketing, and then also support. And they do have the ability to live chat with any of our representatives if they have any questions about using their system as well. Okay, so just to show you that difference, and again, same thing for lenders, just access to these specific ones as well. So now we've gotten a chance to take a look at this section. The next area is actually right here for today's training webinar. So again, we're in Agents Manage Agents. So again, if you're the single agent on the account, you are the administrator, so you'll be the first and only one showing up here. Next thing we want to do is click this Edit pencil within the Actions column. And whenever you see that Edit pencil, that just means you have the ability to edit that specific field. And now what you want to make sure is that you have your name, everything else correct, the email address, username, contact number, and then also if you plan on using any of our autoresponders, any of our emails and individually, or any of our drip email campaigns, please make sure that you have your email signature on file as well. So you can go ahead, you can add photos if you have your email signature as a photo from your graphic design team or you created it yourself. And then also you can link to any of your other websites right below, and you just click the link icon and you can easily do that. So once you've gone ahead and updated all of your personal information on your account, just click yes so your signature shows up live on any emails and save. But the final thing we have to do as far as housekeeping and making sure that everything is configured correctly to start working leads the right way is to go ahead and turn on one of the options for automatically assigning leads. So I always recommend that because last thing you want to do is send an email as the administrator, not have your email signature on file or not have your information associated with the lead and have the email signature show up blank in the email. So by default, and why the system works this way, is the lead comes through and then it gets assigned to the agent, and any emails or autoresponders that go out have the correct agent's email signature on file. So that's the final thing that we have to do and the reason why we have to go through that process. So in order to go ahead and take a look at those options, we go to settings within the top navigation menu, and then we go to options for assigning leads. Okay, great. So we do have 3 different options for automatically assigning leads. The first one is by map location. And so this is going to be for teams. If you're an individual agent, this isn't the best one for you. But this is going to be for teams that have agents that cover specific areas of the market associated with their Prime Seller Leads website. And so, say if one of your team members or agents covers a specific zip code, another agent covers another one, and so on and so forth, you can actually draw map locations on those individual agent accounts. And what that tells the system is that any lead that comes through within that map location will be automatically assigned to the agent that covers that area. So it's definitely an interesting tool. Honestly, most people don't use it because they don't run and function their business that way, but always an option as well. Along with that, we do have Feeding Frenzy, and so we'll take a look at that a little more in depth. Feeding Frenzy is if you want every single person on your team to go ahead and receive email notification or text notification when a new lead comes through, and whoever accepts them first or whoever claims them first is the one who gets to work with them. So if you want to create competition or more urgency amongst your team for working these leads, that's a good option. If not, honestly, 95% of people go with the round robin option. So round robin and how this functions, and I'll remove these just so we can start fresh here, is that as the leads come through, the system will evenly assign them to the list of agents you have on file in this area. And so the first thing you'll take notice of as one of the settings is the lead rotation hours. And so this is just when you want to receive notifications from the system. So if it's your 9 to 5 workday, then it's going to change this to 9 and then 1700 because it is set in military time. If not, honestly, most people don't update this area, so they don't get a huge influx of emails about leads the next morning at 9 o'clock. It just doesn't matter to them. It may just be a few leads coming in at night, so they just leave it to these settings so that you receive lead notifications at any hour. Auto accept is just a column in your CRM. It says accepted, and it'll say accepted or not. And so if you want it to automatically just say accepted, we leave that on. If we turn that off, it's if you want your agents to manually click accepted so that you're working on it. And so we'll cover that in a little bit more into a little more depth here in a little bit. Final step to do with this is you click selected agents and then you get a list of all your agents. Now also this is the best option if you're a single agent and the administrator working on your account. You just choose your name from this list and then press 0, and that means that every single lead will be assigned to your account automatically. And so the reason, which sounds silly by default, we don't have it set up that way is because we do have a number of teams come on, and by default, we don't want to assume that we know how to assign leads based on their situation. So that being said, if you want to add more people, we just click this again, and we go ahead and choose more and more people. And then from there, if you want everyone to evenly assign leads, just update this area to 0 as well. Once you're all set with this, we just click the green Save button, and then we are all set. Perfect. So those are the options for automatically assigning leads with the back end of your Prime Seller Leads website. And before we dive into the final part of today's training webinar, which is taking a look at the CRM and the tools we have available for getting started and staying organized, is just how to customize your site. You know, we got all the settings done. We're going to take a look at working the leads, but one thing that we didn't mention in the beginning is I do want to walk through right now how to just basically customize your site as well. So we have lots of different options based on how you want to work the system, and love to always come up with new ideas that have been provided by the thousands of agents using our program or from our own team members here as well. So in addition to setting this up, really all the housekeeping stuff is all done. All of your personal settings, account settings, everything like that is all set to go. Email signatures in place, all of that good information. And now from here, what we're going to take a look at is in settings, and then steps 2 through steps 4 here along the side, along with setting the page content so that you can update that information as well. So specifically in this area, what we can go ahead and do is the option to go ahead and if you want the let me just take a look here, make sure, because this is our demo account, always coming out with something new. Okay, so the current ones that will be launching very soon here is the step 1 validate address. And so that's if you want the person to enter a valid address in order to continue, which is a brand new feature. We'll announce it to everyone and have a training video as soon as that's ready to go. Again, because we're in our demonstration account, that's why we're able to see it. From here, we also have step 2 options. So if we click on that, it's just different organization of the information on the forms that we request from the leads. So able to customize that information as well. From here, we also have step 2 video options. So if you want a video to play on step 2, we click yes. Only thing to keep in mind is that that video should be uploaded to YouTube or Vimeo. You generate the embed code and then you add a specific part of the code in these sections. If you forget how to do this, you can hover your cursor over the question mark if it's YouTube or Vimeo, and it gives you exact instructions to follow in order to add the video to step 2. Typically, you want to have a good call to action as to why that person should fill out their information for you to get the report. So we do have a great video that you can use right now. If it's currently not on your website, just let us know and we're happy to add that for you as well. You also have the ability to click autoplay. So if you want the video just automatically start playing, you can turn that on, or you can turn autoplay off so the person has to manually click that. Perfect. So that's the step 2 video options. But moving on from there, we also have step 3 options, which is what we're talking about in the beginning of today's training webinar, where you're able to make the phone number mandatory or not, completely up to you. Honestly, the majority of agents love having a phone number, and that way they can call them right away to see if they're ready to sell or what their plans are, or if they have questions about the report that they received on your website. Great, so moving on through this area again, we do have the step 4 summary mail. And again, each one of these steps are the different steps a lead registers for on your Prime Seller Leads website. And so step 4 summary mail, again, is what we talked about earlier and actually turned on. It's just for the lead to receive an email copy of the report, which the benefits we'll talk about later on as we're diving through the CRM and just some different ideas for working the leads. Final thing we have for this is the step 4 sold property comps. And so this is where you can completely customize the data that's on the sold property comps on the home market analysis report, which is right here. And so a lot of information in this area, a minimum and maximum mile radius search. Specifically for that, what the system is saying is right now 1.5 miles around the home is where data will be pulled for the comparable property list. So that's definitely good for more of a country, out in the country, you know, not as developed of a city that has a highly densely populated area. That way there'll be enough data for the report to collect information. Honestly, if you have a highly densely populated area, I would recommend narrowing that down to probably 0.5 of a mile. From here, in the minimum and maximum dollar value for comps, this is for the house value that will show associated on the comparable property list. So I would recommend going to what the lowest amount of homes sell for in your market and then shooting above the highest so you make sure that every single comparable property will show up and be relevant to that person's unique search for your potential clients. Additionally, you have the ability to prioritize the comparable property list by sales date or distance to the home, completely up to you. Honestly, I see the majority of agents going with distance just so it's a recognizable addresses for the lead once they submit their information. Additionally, you can also customize what property types are allowed on the nearby sold comparable property list. Honestly, most agents go with residential single family and condos. If there's no condos, then just single family, and only co-op units if you're in a huge metropolitan area. So you can go ahead and customize that by deselecting or selecting those checkboxes. Once you have this all set, we just click the green save button as well. Okay, great. There we go. So that's all of the settings for setting that specifically up for your Prime Seller Leads website. Let me just take a look here. Okay, great. So moving on through this for the final part of today's training webinar, we're also going to take a look at the whole CRM. Before we do that, though, the final area I just forgot here is under your CMS tab, which you do have the ability to add other pages to your Prime Seller Leads website. So if you want to do that before we hop into the CRM, that's going to be in Settings and then Common Site Settings. You can turn the header menu navigation bar on and then also have pages with our content management system. You can manage internal pages, header links. You can add social media links to that. So if you want to brush it up and make it more look like a seller-themed website rather than a squeeze page, then you can also do that as well. Again, that was in Settings and Common Site Settings in order to turn on your header menu to have multiple pages with your Prime Seller Leads website. Additionally, under CMS, you can also set the page content, which CMS just stands for Content Management System, so the content of your website that you're managing. And so you'll notice that it almost looks exactly like your website. It's a very easy and friendly to use live editor. All you have to do is point, click, you get a prompt where you can change any of the text itself. You can change the font color, background color, font size, and also font style as well. Once you've made those changes, just click Save, and it's immediately live on your Prime Seller Leads website, the front end of it. From here, you can also edit and go through each step, steps 1, steps 2, step 3, and then also step 4, which is where you can customize the branding on your report, change the image, change your name, change any of the wording. You can even remove the value and the actual market details itself on the report. So completely up to you what information you want to be displaying to your leads. You can additionally click on background settings, and this is where you can go ahead and set your homepage wallpaper. You just easily upload as many photos as you want. This area is the second delay, so that 6 seconds will go by and then the new photo will upload, and you can update that as well. Along with this, you can also set Google Street View. So what you can do for this is click Go, enter an immediate address that you want to appear on your website, and then we click here to save the address. And if we go to the front end of the website and click refresh, continue, then we've set Google Street View scrolling in the background for your website as well. Definitely a cool feature. Honestly, in regards to driving traffic to your website, some people have a slow internet connection, and this can seem a little glitchy to them. So you might actually be, right now it's crystal clear to me, but if you have slow connection, especially with the webinar software, then it might be a little glitchy. But that being said, it's definitely another great option we have if you want to change that back. Again, we go to background settings, we go to set homepage banner, and there we go, save. We exit off of that and refresh the front end again. And it's just as easy that to customize your Prime Seller Leads website. Now, the final part that we're going to be reviewing here today is specifically for the CRM, some basic navigation tips, and then also some great features we have available to help stay organized. So the two main areas, and really probably where you'll do 95% of campaign maintenance on a day-to-day, is the CRM all leads area, and then also search leads, so you can easily find the leads you immediately want to work with, update right then and there. So first we're going to take a look at CRM all leads. I do like to point out you will receive partial leads with the system. There's no way of turning that off. It's just people get to step 2, and if we remember back to the beginning of today's training webinar, partial lead is just a property address. So we do have agents that follow up with those. We have agents that even convert that into listings later on down the road and have great success working those partials. So that's where it is. And again, those are just property addresses. So from here, we're going to take a look at our full leads, though, that we received through our online ad campaigns or through any offline marketing that we're doing for our Prime Seller Leads website. So here's that test lead that I submitted earlier, and the first thing you'll notice is that there's a profile photo associated with some of the leads. And so specifically for this, what happens is if the email address that the lead provided when signing up on your Prime Seller Leads website is connected to one of their social media profiles, then our system recognizes that and provides you with direct access to their public social media profiles. So this came, it was actually an older picture, came from my LinkedIn page. We can actually see it's connected to my Twitter, LinkedIn, and Clout. And from here, we can click right on LinkedIn, and it instantly takes us to my specific LinkedIn page, which is a great way, to screen potential clients, who they are. Also, a very successful way to follow up. Say if you called, say if you went ahead and sent them an email, put them on a drip campaign, hand delivered a CMA, sent a postcard, sent a personal video, you've done all of the above. Then by direct access to their social media profile, it doesn't hurt to send a message to them or reach out to them through social media. Now, we really don't have a guidelines for best practices, whatever else, but it's definitely good to reach out for them as well through social media. Just any way possible you can get a hold of that lead, figure out their situation, and figure out when they're ready to sell. So, if it's Facebook, you go ahead, PM them, private message them, ask them to like your business page so they can stay connected with you. From there, you can even, if it's connected to Twitter, you can go ahead, tweet at them, retweet their stuff, get their attention. If it's LinkedIn, you can send them a private message. You can endorse them for their skills. And the list goes on from there. There's so much you can do with social media. I mean, each one of those social media channels could be its own hour-long training webinar for options for going ahead and marketing and reaching out to your leads as well. I'm not going to cover today, but just like to show you that option is there as well. So the biggest thing, especially when just getting started and reaching out to your leads, I like just to check and see, make sure that they received their report. So in order to do that, we click right on the lead's name. Again, we're in CRM, all leads, and click right on the lead's name. And from here, this takes us to the lead summary page, which is all information about the lead. So there's the social media links, everything else. If you see this red icon, it just means that email address unsubscribed. If the email address is red itself. But in this upper right-hand corner, you also notice it says Market Analysis Report. So if the lead received the report on the website, then it will say Market Analysis Report in this section. If they did not, there will be no link for the Market Analysis Report. So from here, we click right on this section, and it provides us the exact report that the lead received on the front end of your Prime Seller Leads website. So it's a great tool to use, especially when you're reaching out and establishing that line of communication with the leads, to have this up just in case they have questions about it. Now, here's what I've been talking about the entire time today, was that step 4 summary mail, which is sort of a strategy we can use, especially with working with the leads. And from experience, and from the experience I've had with working with thousands of agents now and getting them set up and having success with their program, is just understanding, what are some basics for just reaching out to them, what we can say, and what should be the goal of that, what expectations to have with reaching out to those leads. So you'll notice that even though it may say Market Analysis Report, and you see a report, that the lead may say, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, I don't know here, or whatever else. Sometimes they may be just trying to brush you off. Sometimes they've shopped around in all these different sites, got their home values, read it, and they might just forget. So the last thing you want to do, is go through and say, hey, you got the report. What do you think? You didn't get the report. Why? So just having more of a generalized response in the or question in the sense of, hey, this is Peter calling you from your realty company. Looks like you're on your website trying to get a home market analysis report. I just want to make sure that you got the report. And if you did, if you have any questions about that. And then that way you put it in their core if they say I did or if they didn't. And you're not assuming anything. And from there, if they say they did, then you can say, okay, great. Do you have any questions about that report or anything that I could help address for you, whatever else about the value of your home? And if it's no, of course, they're always going to want to try to go ahead and maybe brush you off in that sense. But what you can definitely do, though, is the biggest point is to get across is that this isn't actually a CMA or an appraisal that's generated from the system. And so that's why you need to work with me if you want the true value of your home. I'm an expert and I can generate a CMA or appraisal for you very easily for free. Happy to take care of that for you. And so from there, that's sort of the situation. You definitely want to get that point across, within that first contact with them. Additionally, now going back to the strategy that we've been alluding to the entire time here, is for the leads that say they didn't get the report. And so by turning on the step 4 summary mail, it means that anytime someone submits their information on your site and gets the report, an email copy will be sent to the email address they signed up with. So a good strategy you can use to easily follow up with people and provide them that information is say, hey, this is Peter from your realty company calling today, just seeing if you got the home market analysis report or have any questions about it. And they say, no, I never got anything. You can say, okay, great. I can actually generate that for you for free right now. I just need a good email address and it'll be on its way in 5 minutes. And so what you do is after we turn on the step 4 summary mail, we go to the front of your website and you enter all of the leads information. So if you have them on the phone, you enter their email, their home address, their name, their email address, and their phone number. And once you get the report, it's actually going to send the lead that report through the system. And if you set yourself up to get CC'd on the report, then you can know it got delivered successfully. So that's another great follow-up effort, especially when reaching out to your leads. For the people that say never got the report, whatever else, you can say, well, you know what? Just provide your email address and I can easily send that to you right now. So that's definitely one of the strategies for using when first reaching out to the leads as far as what tools we have available to assist you with that process. Along with that, we do have some great other tools for staying organized in the back-end system right on the lead summary page. Again, for people that might have just joined us, that's going to be CRM all leads, and then we just clicked right on the lead's name. And so you can also add internal reminders when it comes time to complete a task for a lead, or if it's an appointment or whatever it may be. You can also stay organized with your calendar and sync your Google Calendar to sync that data back and forth. From there, you can also add notes and log your phone calls as well. So each one of those are pretty self-explanatory once you go through it, but I just want to show you a good visual cue here as well. So specifically for the reminders, these are internal reminders of the system. So it's not going to send you an email or text notification. Always looking and working on an option for that. But for the time being here, what we're going to go ahead and do is just submit a test one so we can see how it appears. So this is going to be for the bigger tasks that you complete for the lead. If you set an appointment with them, whatever else, then you can keep track of the full appointment history within this section for each one of your leads. Definitely good for a team scenario as well. If you're going through and say if a team member leaves your office, someone else can easily pick up and they know what that person followed up with for that specific lead and potential client. So let's say the scenario here that Peter called back and would like to set up an appointment for this Friday for showing the home and getting a custom CMA. So if that's the case, we can select an appointment. You can write out whatever you want to say. For our purposes today, I'm just going to say test. You choose the date and time you want to be internally reminded with the system. So say if it's this Friday, then we're going to choose the 1st here. And if it's 9, say the appointment was at 10, we probably want to be notified at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and then click done. But for our purposes, I'm going to click now just so we can see what the actual lead reminder looks like. So we click save, and from here, a little pink bar at the top of the screen will go ahead and drop down. There it is. And so that's specifically what it says right there and how it appears. You can have one lead reminder going on or as many as you want. You just can scroll through them easily. When it comes time to complete that task, it'll show up anywhere in the back end. It's not just going to show up in this area, it'll show up all over the place. You just click right on it, it opens a tab so you don't lose your spot, and it takes you to that immediate task for that lead. Once you've completed it, you mark it as completed and okay, and then it'll light up green, and you can have full account history of the appointments, the to-dos, anything that you completed for the lead reminder section. So another great area to stay organized. So for our training purposes, I'm going to just go back to the lead summary page again, which is where we were to access that. You can also log your phone call or notes. It's really logging phone calls. If you really want to keep track of the outbound and inbound phone calls, a lot of time your coach will want you to keep track of that information, so you can easily do so with that. Pretty self-explanatory. Also, you can add notes, and I highly suggest doing this. Any interaction you had with the lead and something that can help you turn into the business later down the road, and having that information on file is only going to help you and your team member there if you do have team members there if you do have a team. So all you have to do is just type out the note, say if it's general, phone, or email, and then save. And then from there, it creates a log of all the notes and timestamps it as well, so you can have full account history of all the interactions you've had with that person. Definitely beneficial to have, especially as lead volume increases. Definitely want to stay organized with the system. Final thing, just going to click back on summary here as well. Those are all of the main areas for staying organized with the system on the lead summary page, but we're going to take a look for the final part of today's training webinar to go ahead and take a look at some of those other final options we have available for staying organized in the CRM. So just going to click CRM All Leads and head back to the All Leads area. We do have two additional areas that really help with staying organized while working your leads and following up. My favorite one here is the lead category. You can go ahead and categorize leads and then easily search for a list of leads that you want to work with right then and there. So if you stay organized by the months, January, February, March, April, May, whatever it may be, say you stay organized and categorize your leads based on when they're ready to sell. If it's a scale of 1 through 5, 1 being ready right now, A, B, C, D, E. If it's a hot, cold scale, whatever you want, you can completely customize this, and you can actually customize all the category section here as well. So say we stay organized that way. Just for example, Peter called back, says he's selling in less than 30 days and wants our help. It updates that category section right here. But say we want to create a list now of all the leads that are selling in less than 30 days so that we can email them all at once, add them to a drip campaign, send them all voicemails, easily find that information, because again, as the lead volume increases, it becomes exponentially more important to stay organized with the system. So the last thing you want to do is try to find 50 leads out of 2,669 leads. So easy way to find it is by staying organized with the category section, CRM, search leads, and this way we can search based on the lead category. We select this area, less than 30 days tag, and search, and then we're instantly provided with a list of leads who are selling within that specific category we're searching for. A great tip for staying organized with the system, just, again, the more leads you have, the more difficult these stay organized if you don't start doing this right away with the program. Along with that, again, that's completely customizable. We do have the actions column. So I'm going to go back to the all leads area so we can see all the leads, just to show you that there are actions columns for each and every single one of your leads. And the actions column is just a checklist for your specific follow-up and protocol you employ with working seller leads through our program. So this doesn't take care of it for you, which would be great, but it's just like a checklist. As you go through and manually complete that task, you go ahead, click it, it crosses it off, and timestamps it for you as well in order to stay organized with your follow-up. And again, 100% customizable. All you have to do if you want to customize the lead category section or the action section is going to CRM, miscellaneous, and you can easily customize that information right here with your immediate follow-up strategy or the categories you use to stay organized with working with seller leads. Additionally, some other things that you'll notice and some functionality of the CRM is you can go ahead and have a notes section. Whenever you take notes, that's what we looked at on the lead summary page. It'll light up green to let you know that notes have been taken on that lead. Additionally, you'll notice an edit pencil to edit any of the leads information. So say if Peter calls back, we go to CRM, search leads, search for Peter, and easily pull his information up. We click his edit pencil and go ahead and edit any of his information on his account. If it's his contact information, who he's assigned to with the system, or any of his property details as well, you can customize. From there, we also have a great email summary icon, so you can see all of the emails that have been sent to you notifying you about that specific lead, or any of the email autoresponders or drip emails that have been sent to that lead from the system. And so this is a really cool area for, sort of gauging how your follow-up campaign is performing as far as drip systems, emails, responses, anything else like that, because you can check to see if that person actually opened that email, and then additionally if they clicked on any links that you placed inside of that email, along with the ability to click on this icon to pull up that exact email that was sent to you about the lead, or to the lead from a drip campaign or email autoresponder with the system. So a great way to go ahead and keep track of that information. Again, that's the lead email summary icon, which is immediately underneath the lead's name with that email icon right here. Additionally, we're not going to get into it today as far as marketing. You do have the ability to send individual or bulk voicemails to your leads. This is where you go ahead and check on the send status in the voicemail log for each one of the leads to see if that completed successfully. Okay, so just going to go back to the CRM All Leads area. One thing, a few other icons that you'll notice popping up with the system is you do have an email address. When someone unsubscribes, this turns red. And also under status of lead, that's the email unsubscribe notification as well. From here, you do have the ability to manually stay organized with correct contact information for the leads. So you can go ahead, click on this phone number area once, the question mark. Green means it's valid, red means it's invalid, and the question mark means it's unverified. That way, if you have 2,000 leads and trying to call someone again on a list, you're not calling that same bad phone number over and over again. It's a way just to stay organized. And same thing for the email address as well. Along with that, this is where you go ahead and will notice if someone's been assigned to a drip email campaign. When it's clear, they have not. When it's green, they have been assigned. And when it turns blue, that campaign has been completed. You can additionally hover your cursor over that drip mail icon when it's green or blue to see what they've been assigned to, what's been completed, when it was assigned, if it's running, how many messages that are a part of the campaign, and how many have been sent so far. From here, you can also take a look at the final few areas, which is going to be the referrer section. And so this lets you know where that lead came from. If it's a question mark, that means it's a direct lead, no referrer. They manually typed in your Prime Seller Leads domain name and remembered it from going to the past. They saved it, whatever else, and they came back through to the site. And so I manually went through and entered in Las Vegas sellers to get to our demo site, and that's why it showed up and reflected that way in the referrer column. If you have a Google AdWords campaign, you'll see a G. If it's Facebook, which might not be on here right now, Facebook, it's an F. Yahoo, it's a Y, and so on and so forth. Only other icon to take notice of will be this exclamation point, which means that this came specifically from one of your widgets or another online referral source with your Prime Seller Leads website. Great. The final thing I like to point out is you do have the ability to automatically or manually look up leads information within the back end of your Prime Seller Leads website. And so some of these icons you'll notice are associated to that process. I'm not going to dive into it right now, but just to let you know it's an option. It's called our PSL Bucks program. You can go ahead and you have, with a base subscription, have 50 free PSL Bucks a month. One PSL Buck is equal to one lookup, and it also works with our voicemail, and once we launch text message marketing, it'll work for that as well. So associated with this green check mark just means that this was converted from a partial lead. From here, you can also look up phone numbers for full leads. So whenever you see a red star, that was a phone number that our system looked up. And again, those are going to be all manual processes. We don't have time to hop into that today, but definitely a great option just to find leads information automatically within the back end of your Prime Seller Leads website. Perfect. So that really sums it up for today's training webinar. Got a great training session in here today. Went for the full hour. If you have any questions right now about what we covered, what we didn't cover, anything else like that, then I'm happy to address those for you right now. In the meantime here, while you're thinking of your questions, typing them out, whatever it may be, I'm going to just review exactly what we covered here today, and then I'll go ahead and answer any questions that you had. So specifically for today, we took a look at the front end of the website, talked about how to drive traffic to your website if you're signed up for a base subscription and not a part of our ad management or exclusive program, if it's offline or online. From there, we went ahead and took a look at the whole lead registration process, the difference between a partial lead, difference between a full lead, the home market analysis report. From there, even what goes into the report and the technology and some scenarios of how to relay that information to your leads. Additionally, we talked about setting up fair expectations for yourself with these types of programs, as far as, confirmed by some international real estate coaching companies in regard to going ahead and about 8 to 10 touches per lead, and that return comes anywhere from 3 to 6 months down the road. Additionally, also looked at the average conversion rates for people just getting started and agents that are rock star agents in that sense. Anywhere from 1 to 8% is what you should expect with these types of programs. From here, we also took a look at the whole back end system. From there, we went and took a look at some basic housekeeping for setting up the different accounts, email settings and notifications, and then also we took a look at the options for automatically assigning leads. Additionally, from there, we took a look at the whole lead registration process settings, steps 2 through 4, coming out with that new step one for validating the email address very soon here. And then also from there, setting the page content and the content management system in order to customize your website. The final thing that we summed up with for today was just the CRM, lead summary page, how to access the report, the different scenario of if someone got a report or didn't, making sure you turn on that step 4 summary mail to expedite your follow-up process for leads that haven't received the report or stated that they haven't. From there, also taking a look at some of the different tools for staying organized, and then finalizing everything up with the whole lead lookup process and having that ability within the backend system. So let me go ahead. It looks like some questions coming in here. So Norma was just asking, in the future, any way we can connect to our local MLS for more accurate valuations like IDX, Broker, Platinum. Not familiar with that service myself here, Norma. I'm sure our development team is very well familiar with really everything that's out there. As of right now, there has been talk about it. It's interesting that you bring it up. Right now, we're really pushing to go ahead and have a lot of great feedback from agents signed up with our Prime Buyer Leads platform. So specifically for Prime Buyer Leads, that's where you can go ahead and hook up your IDX through your local MLS board to our system. We apply as a web vendor, and then from there get that process started. So right now, just because fees associated with the realtor itself or ourselves, whatever else setting up, we're slowly getting that process set up across the nation. We do have a lot of agents already set up. So the one thing we want to do, last thing we want to do, is release it to only a few small group of people, in the sense of, okay, you have very accurate MLS information, whatever else on the report, and some other don't. So that's why we're just going through that process of collecting the information. So in the near future, I don't see that happening, Norma. Interesting you brought it up, but we're always looking into options like that in order to improve any of our data on the reports or your experience with your Prime Solid system. So very interesting question. Right now, not in the immediate future it's going to happen, but we're always looking into options for that as well. So good question. Thank you for that, Norma. But that really looks like it's it. Okay, no, some other ones just came in here. Let's go ahead and take a look at these. Okay, good question. So Jim here, Jim, super proactive, signed up, got going with the trial, I think before his website was up and going. So, hey, that's good news. Starting the process sooner is better sooner than later. But Jim, just asking in case there are any other agents out here as well, just signed up for the free trial. How soon can we expect to be up and running, have domain, and you have the name server set? Okay, perfect. So the process for that, is getting the domain, pointing the name servers. Next step is going ahead and responding to the welcome email, Jim, with the domain you've selected and letting us know that you've gone ahead and pointed those name servers correctly to ours in the settings. So from there, it takes less than 24 hours for a tech to go ahead and build your Prime Seller Leads website and software. As soon as it's live, we go ahead and send you the login credentials. So yeah, just respond to the welcome email, say, hey, here's my domain, I've pointed the name servers, I'm all set to go, and then we'll take good care of you from there, Jim, okay? All right, great. So, oh, yep, you're welcome. Perfect. So if that covers it today, then that's the end of today's training webinar. Really thank everyone for coming out. Just stay tuned for this next minute. Just have a few other quick announcements here. Just like to thank everyone for coming out, additionally training with the system. And we do host these live training webinars twice a week, every Tuesday and Thursday. Today is as recorded. We're going to post it to everyone's admin back end if you want to access it, along with our Mastermind Facebook group. Also, if you're not a part of the Mastermind Facebook group yet, please do that. You just have to friend our CEO and founder, Josh Grund. You easily find him online through Facebook, whatever. Just send him that friend request, and he will add you to the PSL Mastermind group. A lot of agents are going ahead and sharing their ideas, thoughts about strategies, follow-up, and just collaborating for having success with the program ultimately. So definitely check that out as well with the system here. Also, this Thursday, we do have a great training webinar headed your way. We're going to announce that schedule tomorrow. Always covering something new on Thursdays. Usually it's one of the marketing components. So especially if you like today's and want to connect it to, something that makes sense and it's viable to implement with your system, I would definitely check out this Thursday. It's probably going to cover a different marketing component. Last week, we talked about lender integration, how to set that up and make sure that that's set up correctly. So always covering different topics like that, always new, always interesting. You can always check it out at pslwebinar.com. Again, that's pslwebinar.com. You can register for this Thursdays right now. If you have any questions after this, just want to let you know, we really do have one of the best customer support teams in the industry here. You can reach us by live chat, which is actually built right into the back end of your website. Live chat hours are longer than our regular phone hours. So live chat, you can reach us anytime from 9:30 a.m. all the way till midnight Eastern Standard Time. So please talk to us, reach out to us there if you have any questions from 9:30 in the morning until midnight Eastern Standard Time. Additionally, you can reach us on our Facebook work accounts. We're always posting and active in that group. So the group not meant for a customer support forum, meant to go ahead and stay positive in the sense of bouncing ideas off of each other. But if you want to reach out to our Facebook work accounts on Facebook, or if you want to go ahead and reach out to us, our email address, you're more than welcome to do so. Additionally, you can also call us toll free from 9:30 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want that number, that's as follows. It is 888-485-4234. All right, so thank you everyone for coming out and training with us today. I look forward to seeing you this Thursday, always covering something new at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Any questions, feel free to reach out to customer support. We're always able and happy to help you here at Prime Seller Leads. All right, thanks everyone and have a great day.